God bless you, loved ones. Welcome to the Word with Chester. Today we'll continue study in chapter 33 of the book of Numbers. God blessed us in our last session to read down to verse 39. Today we'll begin our reading at verse 40. I want you to keep in mind exactly what we're doing, and that is reading and teaching through this Bible verse by verse and chapter by chapter. Therefore, it's necessary for us to read all of the Bibles and not just the parts of the Bible that excite us and we get a great storyline out of it, but it's also important to read through the Bible, even those parts that seem to be a little bit boring to you or does not catch your interest. When you read all of it, number one, you will be able to glean from those parts when it does get to an exciting part. So it's important for us to continue in this format. In fact, this is what God has instructed me to do, and that is read through this Bible and give commentary verse by verse and chapter by chapter. So I will not depart from that. Yes, I could preach a sermon and possibly hold your interest and have a mini church service or however you wanted to work it, but the key emphasis here is teaching through the Bible, verse by verse and chapter by chapter. So we must stay with that concept. I ask that you pray for us on a daily basis that God will get the glory out of all that we do. Now, this particular chapter, Moses is giving a recap or just giving a summary of all the journeys from the time they left Egypt all the way up into the journey to the Jordan River. Now you have to understand that this is a 40-year span of time, and Moses is giving a recap. Every stop that they make, every place that they camped on the journey, and the importance of what was around that section of time where they had stopped. Moses giving a recap, and so that's the reason we are in the middle of this. Now we come into the middle of a section, those of you that are just now tuning in for us, where we're reading a lot of names of places this time, and sometimes that seems to be a little bit tedious to us, but let me let you know the importance of what we're doing. I encourage you to stay with us and watch God bless your soul. Well, today we'll begin our reading at verse 40. In our last lesson, we read to the part where Aaron, the priest, had died. God had commanded him and let him know that his time was up and instructed him to go up into Mount Hor there, and in Mount Hor he would die. And he did as God had told him to do, and it happened just as God had said. So we had read to that point, and the journey had come to that point where Aaron had died. You got to understand, Aaron was 123 years old, so we're talking about a long span of time that he lived. He was with the children of Israel in Egypt. He was with the children of Israel when they departed Egypt, and all the way up to a very close proximity when the children of Israel were going to go into the promised land. So we'll begin our reading. I'll reread 39 if so that you may get to where we are. Verse 39, and Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor. So this is where we are. Aaron had died here. Now we read on in verse 40. And King Arad, the Canaanite who dwelt in Negev in the land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the children of Israel. And they departed from Mount Hor and encamped in Zalmanah. And they departed from Zalmanah and encamped in Punon. And they departed from Punon and encamped in Oboth. And they departed from Oboth and encamped in Iyerabim. Camped in Abram. Well, that's a long word. I hope I didn't mess it up too bad. They camped there in the borders of Moab, and they departed from Iyim. I'll read it again. Iyim, and encamped in Dobangad. And they removed from Dobangad and encamped in Almandalah. Now that's a long word, and I hope I didn't mess it up too bad for you. They camped there, and they moved from El-Mondai Blathaim and encamped in the mount of Abraham, before Nebo. And they departed from the mountains of Abraham and encamped in the plains of Moab by the Jordan near Jericho. And they encamped by the Jordan from Beth Jeshimoth even unto Abel Shittim and the plains of Moab. Well, can you understand? We gave a synopsis there of every place that they stopped. That we gave a recording of every place that they had stopped. Now we go into verse 50, the law of the possessions of the land. Get the picture. They're very close now, going into the promised land, very close. And so they're getting law before they go into the promised land. And you have to understand the importance of this. And Moses, that lawgiver, it was important for him to be with them at that time through all of this for the law to be given before they went into the promised land. You have to understand when you go into new terrain and then you're all of a sudden in there without law, can you see how hectic or even violent things could be when people think that things are not going the way they should? Well, here Moses is given the law. He's given the law before he died. Now we're coming close to the conclusion of Moses' life, or when he was with the children of Israel. Now we'll start reading now in verse 50. And the Lord spoke unto Moses in the plains of Moab by the Jordan near Jericho, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye are passed over the Jordan into the land of Canaan, then ye shall drive out all of the inhabitants of the land from before you, and destroy all their stone idols, and destroy all their melted images, and demolish all their high places. What's happening here? You have to understand, when you go into a foreign land there, they have their ways of worship and the gods that they worship. So God is commanding them through Moses that when they go in, they have to tear down all of these high places and all the idol gods and all of the things that would displease the true and the living God. Now verse 53, and ye shall dispossess the inhabitants of the land. You shall dispossess. I think I talked about that word again. Dispossess. Well, anything that is possessed, that means that's something that is inside. But to dispossess it means to drive it completely out or get it out. So this is what the word of the Lord is saying, and ye shall possess the inhabitants of the land. In other words, you have to drive them out. They have to go find residence somewhere else or die and dwell therein, for I have given you the land to possess. You have to dispossess the land of the people that live there, and then you will be able to possess the land. Should I reread that? And ye shall dispossess the inhabitants of the land, and dwell therein, for I have given you the land to possess. Verse 54, and ye shall drive the land by lot for an inheritance among your families, and and to the more ye shall give the more inheritance. Now let's read that again and get an understanding. Ye shall divide the land by lot. By lot, that is some type of way of drawing numbers, of picking numbers, or some type of way, drawing straws, we would call it, or whatever the case may be, by lot, or by chance, or by lottery. Ye shall divide the land by lot for an inheritance among your families, or by lot. We can put it this way, or by lot, or the land subdivided. That would be the part for that individual by lot. I have a house here that's on one lot. This belonged to me, but everything out of my borders does not belong to me. I hope you understand that. And ye shall divide the land by lot for an inheritance among your families, and to the more shall ye shall give the more inheritance. In other words, if it's a large family or a large tribe, they would get more land. Or if it was a small tribe, they would get less land. Why would you give a small amount of people a great amount of land and then put a great family or a great amount of people into a little spot of ground where there's not enough resources to take care of them? So God knows what he's doing. Divide them by lots. The one with the more get the larger inheritance, and the one with the fewer shall give the less inheritance. Every man's inheritance shall be in the place where his lot falleth. Where his lot falleth. That will be your place. No more, no less. But that will be yours where that lot falleth. According to the tribes of your fathers, ye shall inherit. Now verse 55 reads, but if ye will not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that those whom ye let remain of them shall be a barb in your eyes, a barb or a sticker or something that would prick you if you let them stay. Well, what's the logic of that? If you let those stay, you got to understand when you have a group of people together and they're from somewhere or they have fought a certain battle, you let some of them stand. After a while, they'll try to rise again or organize again to maybe take the land back or either make it very uncomfortable for the ones that are living there. So God is instructing them they need to drive them completely out and don't let any of them stay back. It's one thing, especially when a tribe or a group of people is an underdog. They want to merge sometime or want to come up with a treaty, something of that nature. But God is saying, drive them out. I'll read 55 again. But if ye will not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that those whom ye let remain in them shall be barbs in your eyes, and the thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherein ye dwell. Can you understand what the Lord is saying? If you let some of them stay there, after a while, it may not be the next day or the next month, sometimes not the next year, sometimes it's a while, but if you let them stay, in other words, they will come to be a barb or a sticker in your side. So God just instructed them to drive them all out. Now verse 56 reads, moreover, it shall come to pass that I shall do unto you as I thought to do unto them. In other words, if you don't obey me and do it like I said, I will do unto them or do unto you what I was going to do unto them. And that's drive them out. Get them completely out. In other words, God is saying, if you don't obey me, I will drive you out. I will drive you out and do to you what I told you to do to them. So it's so important for them, you, me, and everyone else to obey God and do exactly how he says. That's the reason I'm so adamant in reading through this Bible. Even if I stumble over a word every now and then, I'm adamant because that's what God told me to do, is read through this Bible and share my devotion with you. And I'm doing exactly what he said. I encourage you, my friends, to stay with us and watch God bless you. If you stay with us, you will have read completely through this Bible, verse by verse and chapter by chapter. You will be blessed. Your knowledge of God will be enlightened. Remember what we're doing. I want you to get to know the God of the Bible. I want you to know that I love you, my friends. I love you with the love of the Lord. If you would like to contact me for any reason, you can write me at the Word with Chester Ministries, Post Office Box 200603, San Antonio, Texas 78220. You can also reach me at my website, www.poemsbychester.com. Those of you listening for the first time, these are important addresses. You can also reach me where you watch me. If you watch on Facebook, you can reach me there. If you watch from Twitter, you can reach me there. Or from YouTube, you can reach me there. Google, you can reach me there. LinkedIn, you can reach me there. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Also, when you like me on the World Wide Web, it lets me know that you are listening and lets me know the geological location that you are. That way I can put more emphasis in certain areas of this country to get the gospel to you, or possibly even come to you in a live sermon or a live service with you. And I guarantee you, if I come to your city or your state, you will not be disappointed. I will bring music, I'll bring musicians, and we will have a service that will not be compared with any other, and God will bless and work miracles in your life. Remember, I love you, my friends. I love you with the love of the Lord. God bless you.